In the previous episode of the 70 Cougar AOD swap, I bolted the transmission to the engine and modified the crossmember and drive shaft to make everything fit. In this episode, I tackle getting this B&M shifter connected. This is the famous B&M Megashifter. It came with the car when I bought it, and it is ridiculous. It is a drag racing ratcheting shifter, which means when you select first gear, you bang the shifter forward and it will only go to the very next gear. Aside from manual shifting, park to reverse to neutral and to drive operate pretty normally. To me, it just didn't quite fit with the rest of my interior, so within this video you will see it transform a bit as I work on it at the same time as the shift linkage. Stay tuned, the next video will focus on the upgrade to its looks. But for now, I just need to figure out how to get the linkage working correctly. Okay, so one thing I need to do first actually is remove the shifter. Yeah, that shifter doesn't look too bad. It'd be nice if I replaced that blue bezel with maybe some matching wood or something, but it doesn't look that bad. I might stick with it. Oh, and then also the handle maybe? Like a wood ingrate handle or something. So after the top screws come out, we just have a couple of hex-headed bolts in there to hold the shift select indicator, which is cable driven off of the shifter. Kind of a complicated design, but it works, I guess. And then we can slide this top part off. Then we can remove this plastic bezel and access everything. Can be used on a 3 or 4-speed automatic transmission. So figuring out how to configure it is the only key. So it's called the B&M Megashifter, and we just need to figure out how to convert it from 3 to 4-speed. If you are using this shifter with a 4-speed, you must remove the blocker pin and the 2 E-clips indicated in figures 1 and 3. Remove this blocker pin and 2 E-clips for GM 4-speed. Figure 3. Doesn't work with Ford 4-speed? Cable route for Ford and GM installations. Yeah. Okay, well, let me figure this out. Okay, so here's the blocker pin right here. It runs all the way through, and there's an E-clip on both sides. Anyway, so let's get that out of there and see what that does. So it's a good thing this car is clean, because that E-clip went flying even though I had my hand cupped around it. Alright, so it came out. Now let's see. We should have an extra gear now, right? Alright, so that's drive. And now we have 3, 2, 1. Yep, that's it. At the time of filming this, I had no idea that this particular transmission has the same amount of shift positions as the C6, so I had to put the pin back. I am used to 4-speed automatics having PRND, then 3, 2, 1. So the C6 has P, R, N, D, then 2 and 1, and the AOD has P, R, N, O, D, then D, 1. I'm actually not sure what the second position D will do. Will it be second or third? Okay, so what's it going to take to get this hooked up? I don't suppose these holes are going to line up with the oil pan holes. No. Ooh, we're really going to have to go all the way up here like this. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. Got to keep out of the way of the TV cable. But I mean, if we can just keep this away from that. Let's put it in park. Keep this away from that entirely. So we got a couple of different places that we could think about. Looks like it's pretty much set up for a C6 as far as the bracket goes. The holes on this one are too far apart, which is a shame, which means I'd either have to extend this bracket or just make another one. This shifter cable is basically way longer than I need it. Can we utilize this to lock this bracket in, right? Pop it in, cut this here, and that way this doesn't move back and forth. Actually, probably just drill another hole, because then we clear this, and we're pretty well lined up. Not elevation-wise, though. Not really elevation-wise. Bending this bracket up, twisting it would get us there. And moving it this way, that would pretty much get us there. I don't really see any adjustability at all over here. I think it's all about the other side. Yep. I removed the actual shifter assembly, which, yeah, I guess it's bent because of the curvature of the car. What was weird is the back of it was shimmed up. Well, I guess it's not weird, but oh yeah, because there's a hump right here. So this wouldn't have fit. Get out of the way. Just grab the shifter real quick. This wouldn't have fit over that, I'm guessing, if it wasn't for that. Yeah, it's hitting on the bottom there. So yeah, and somebody did just put a plate on there, and metal plate. It's actually just bolted in, but it has seam sealer on it, so it's the interior of the car. I don't really have to worry about this too much. Okay, I'll get some light. Here's where we are right now. Oh, our bracket is just about done. Took way longer than it should have because I'm having to use my flux core welder. I'm all out of shielding gas, and I need to make it over to the place to get more. But anyway, yeah, we're located right where we need to be located here. Need to make some sort of linkage here. The thing that came with this is very small, and this is very large here, so maybe I can use some of the linkage off the other. Okay, yeah, after having it up here, I discovered that was too high, and I'm doing now what I should have done. I grabbed a couple of zip ties to hold this in at like the perfect position for selecting the shift. Have it go up as far as possible there, but still it's pretty much right where it would go. And the exhaust fits. It comes down like this, and it's out of the way. So I'm going to redo my bracket. Yay! Well, I knew the solution would be simple. It just took me a really long time to arrive at it. So really, all we needed to do was make something very small fit into a larger hole, and also have it offset by but not by very much. So as you can see, we're just offset, you know, 1/4 inch or 3/16 or whatever. And you know, I actually had, what was this, a 7/16 bolt or something like that? I had these 1/2 inch, looks like. I had these and they fit into the large shifter hole on the side of the transmission. And boy, I was investigating things like what it would take to get the shifter linkage out of the transmission, and I did not want to go there. I wanted to be able to make something that I could just bolt in, and that was just really eluding me. But so I cut the bolt in half. Let's show you here. I cut the bolt that's boogery and spattery because I'm using my flux core. But cut the bolt in half like that, notched the half of it to make room for the you know, the B&M end linkage or whatever it is, and then just cut this bolt down to size, and that's basically it. So let's take a look. So we got the big hole under here. We got the small peg here. So those are the two things we need to mate up. So, and I had to shave this down a little bit because it was hitting on the transmission. So the trick to doing this part of it is to make sure that we are clocked so that we're just on the inside of the hole, you know, facing toward this way. Our offset is toward the linkage, you know, because we need to do a shorter throw than what the AOD has. So I think we got that pretty much lined up. And that's it. And now we're all the way on this position and we're loose. And then when I put it all the way into drive, we are also loose. And I have to wonder about whether I'm going to put the detents. There's detents on the shifter. Check another video of mine for how I did this T-handle. But I removed the detent spring. So it rides on this and it makes the shifter itself click. But this shifter, in its ratcheting motion of the two manual gears, the bottom two gears, ratchets anyway. So it's almost like it's double ratcheting, which is why it's harder to do that. But I guess that's the intended purpose, because they probably wanted to make it pretty tough when you're drag racing or whatever, but we have no need for that. So I'm going to ratchet it back to second. And then this is drive. And then I can pull all the way up on this, which would be the handle here. And then without the detents on there, there's nothing that is making this detent other than the transmission itself. So we're in overdrive now, and we're going to go into neutral, and that's just clicking down there. Reverse and park. Okay. And now, when we go underneath, we should also be relatively loose, which we are. So I think I finally got it. Ooh, I spent a whole day, probably a day and a half, thinking about it, trying different things, 3D printing stuff, but I think I got it. I guess I could shorten that bolt, the threaded rod, a little more, just to make this straighter. But other than that, I think I got it. Yep. Reverse, neutral, drive, 1. D. Then we're going to go just regular drive. Neutral, reverse, and park. So that's it for this video. In a subsequent video, I'll go over the added wood trim to the T-handle, and I made the T-handle actually, and added wood trim to the bezel. I also painted it and redid the Prindle display. So look out for that video, and we will see you next time, friends. Thanks for watching.